Hey guys, what is up? Today I have a super important video and it's going to be all about N8n, the basics, and how to set up your own self-hosting so you save 75% of the cost of running your own automation platform. The other important part of this video is going to be showing you how to take my templates from any of my other videos, import them into your N8n, and debug the login credentials that you'll need to do to get it started on your platform. As you can see by the Google search trend results, N8n has been blowing up over the last year, similar to the search term AI agent. And that's because N8n works really well with AI agents, AI models, and all of that. And similar to Zapier and Make.com, it's an extremely important platform that everyone that wants to get into online business should really know. The best part about this platform is it's essentially no code and it's really easy to build. You build these little modules and you connect them with these ropes and you're able to create something very simple like auto-generating images and videos using AI templates, or something very complicated like hundreds of nodes connecting Facebook leads from one CRM to another, managing tests, and pretty much everything you can possibly imagine. So Zapier is the company that basically started this entire trend and started this idea of these automations. And as you can see, I have the payments pricing page up for Zapier, and I'm basically going to explain how expensive and controlled Zapier has essentially gotten. So they charge per task, meaning every automation may have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 tasks. A lot of the last templates that I made on my YouTube channel have usually 5 to 15. And they are charging for the same thing. Basically, you're paying for every single task you do, not every single automation or execution that runs. And as you can see here, it's somewhat reasonable in the beginning. You're paying $29 a month for something, given 700 tasks could be used within a few minutes on a highly used automation. But as you can see, if you really want to stretch the limits of what's possible, now keep in mind, I've been part of businesses and started businesses that use 50,000 tasks per month, because it's not that hard, given that as you go, you add more and more steps to these automations. They get more complicated, you get more traffic or triggers for them, and you can see, boom, you're already paying like $400 a month, which is an extremely high amount, and that's why I'm so happy about N8n. So I'm going to switch over to that right now. Here we have N8n's pricing page, and as you can see, you always save a little bit using the annual, but I usually don't recommend people do that in case they want to switch in the middle of the year, or they want to switch right after the year so they don't get double billed, stuff like that. Anyways, the plan I've been using for all my videos so far has been this $24 plan. Now it allows for 2.5K workflow executions. These are not tasks. So already you're doing potentially 10 times cheaper than Zapier, even more if you have a bunch of tasks. You can have 5 active workflows, which is not too bad. And overall, the pricing, I don't have too many complaints with it, and I think it's a great alternative to Zapier. And I think if you've seen a lot of my videos, there's a lot of cool capabilities that N8n can do even better than platforms like Zapier. However, one of my most common questions is, how do I self-host and save money? So the $24 isn't a lot, but let's just say you're running 5 different projects and you want them all on different accounts for different people to access or whatnot. Then you're going to start to rack up some monthly costs that may be a little bit on the higher side. So in this first section, I'm going to be showing you how to set up Digital Ocean and self-host your own N8n platform, because N8n allows this with their open source licensing. And you'll save about 75%, costing you around $6 per month, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay, so unfortunately I did record this entire setup and then my screen software completely crashed, but I'm going to be breaking this down. So you're going to go to digitalocean.com, create a new account, then you're going to click on this marketplace icon on the left side. We're going to search N8n. That's going to give us this default template. We can then create an N8n droplet with that. So that's going to have everything stored that you need to get started with. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to choose your region. You're going to want to pick the one closest to you. So I did San Francisco. This one you can just let it choose by default. And then it's going to be installed on Ubuntu, which is a version of Linux, in the background. So that's all good. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit more, and you're going to see the different versions of CPUs you can do. So we're going to want to do the basic shared one because it's the cheapest, and then we're going to go to regular because it's also the cheapest, and we're going to go to the $6 a month one, which is almost about 1 penny per hour. And then we can choose these bigger versions if we're running a lot of tasks and this one is lagging or can't handle. But for now, we're going to start on the $6 a month one. We do not need additional storage or backups. You're going to enter a unique root password that you're going to want to save, and make sure to save for later. And then we're going to scroll down, and once you have that, you're just going to hit create droplet. I already created mine on the first recording, so I'm going to go to that right here. It's called first project. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and this is a little bit of an annoying part, but you do need to connect a domain name that you already have to this. So if you don't have a domain name, you can go to name.com, and I'll be going over that in a second. But basically you'll see this green light a minute or two after you create it. It'll be ready to go, and now I'm going to show you how to set up the domain. Okay, so now we are in namecheap.com. It's an easy way to get a domain name. I already have a bunch of ones, so I'm just going to be doing it on one of mine. If you do not have one, I recommend you go with one that has an extremely low cost to register and a low cost for the yearly renewal. I believe stuff like XYZ or whatnot is extremely cheap, so you could pick one of those. That will only cost you a couple dollars. And then what you're going to want to do is go into the domain list, go into the settings on the domain, go to advanced DNS, and all you're going to want to do is click add a new record. You're just going to create one new record. It's going to be an A record. The host is going to be just called N8n, and then the value is going to be the domain associated with your droplet. So you can see here's my droplet. This is my IP address. So we're going to put that IP address as the value, and then TTL I just put as 20 minutes. And then I saved that, and then we go back to DigitalOcean for the next step. Now for the next step, you're going to hit these three buttons. You're going to hit Access Console. Now I actually have screenshots of this because I had a feeling there was going to be an issue with it. But it's going to ask you a few steps. The first one is going to be what subdomain. You can just hit enter, and it'll be automatically N8n. Then it's going to ask you to type in the domain name you want. So in this version, I typed in durso.io. And then it's going to ask you a few more questions. You can just hit no to them, and then it will take about 5 minutes to load up. And then once it loads up, it will say confirmed. I'll have all the screenshots here as I explain the steps. And then you're just going to go to that domain, and here we have it, nan.durso.io/setup, and this will be the self-hosted setup page. So we're just going to go through this and then move on to the actual experience. Okay, so for this we're just going to type in our email, our name, and a password that we have for this, and we could check that box or not, but we'll be hitting next, and it should be loading up our interface. Okay, we gave it about 1 minute, and then it loaded, and then it's just going to ask you some questions. It doesn't really matter too much what you do. But I'm going to say for myself, less than 20 people. I found out about it on YouTube, and then we're going to hit get started. So it's going to ask you if you want to receive this license key. So I'm going to go ahead and have it send that over to me, and then boom, here you go. You now have your own self-hosted N8n platform, and everything should be ready to go. And now I'm going to get into the part of the video where I show importing one of my other templates and setting up all the credentials and everything you need for that. Okay, so here comes the fun part. I'm going to take my last video template and we're going to import that and try to get it to run. So we're going to hit create workflow, and now create this one right here. Same exact interface as we had in all the other videos, and the same exact interface if you just get the N8n plan directly from them. We're going to see these three dots, and that's how we're going to import. So we're going to go to this file. So this is the one from my last video, and you can see right here we have the template. So we're just going to scroll all the way down, copy this entire thing, go to subline text, and then we're going to save that, and we're going to name this Adrian template 1.json. Just has to be a .json file. So we save that. Now we're going to go back to our N8n. we're going to click import from file, and then we're going to click that file, and then boom, we have the whole template loaded in. And as you can see, we have some errors, so let's go fix those. Okay, so it gets a little bit more complicated when you're self-hosting here, connecting to your Google account, because you're going to need to make your own OAuth, but I'll show you how to do that right now. So we're going to double click into that. We're going to need to set up some new credentials. On this new credentials, as you can see right here, we have this redirect URL, but the first step we're going to need to do is go to the Google Cloud Console. So I'm logged into my account. I have my first project. We're just going to be creating one more. So going to create it, call it N8n test, in the same location as everything else is. And then once we have that, we're going to move on. Okay, then when that comes up, you're going to just click on it and make sure you're inside that new test. Then you're going to want to go to the left side, and then you're going to want to go to API services, and then you're going to want to go to OAuth consent screen. So we're going to load that one up. So we're going to hit get started here, and then we're going to put the app info. So we can name this whatever we want. We'll name it demo. I'll give it my support email here. For this we're going to hit internal, because we're just going to be using it for our own accounts. We're going to hit next. You're going to have to enter in your email one more time, and then agree to this, and then continue, and then we can hit create. So the next step, we're going to go into clients. We're going to click create a new client. We're going to make this a web application. You just name this test1 or whatever, and then you're going to need your URI. So we're just going to go back to our N8n instance, copy this URL, go back here. We're going to do authorize URIs. We're just going to paste this in right here, and then it should pop up the information you need to move on. Okay, so we're going to take the client ID. We're going to go back. We're going to paste that here. We're going to take the client secret. We're going to copy that, paste that here, and then we're going to have to hit the sign in with Google. Now, keep in mind, all these extra steps are important if you're self-hosting. If you're not self-hosting, I'm pretty sure you'll just be able to sign in with Google and use their own authorization, which should be much faster. But either way, once we have these two in, you're going to have to sign in with Google. So we're going to do that now with the same account. Okay, so we're going to click that sign in with Google, and make sure to sign in with the same account that we did the Google Cloud Console. And I don't know if you can see this, but it's just going to authorize everything. So we're just going to hit allow, and once we do that, the connection says it's successful here, and it'll close in a second. And then here we see account connected, so everything should be good, but there is one more step. So we're going to X out of this, and then as you can see, it cannot load from a list, so we're going to need to give it access to that now. So we're going to hop back to the console, and we're going to go to, once we're on the console on the search, we're going to want to search Google Drive, and we're going to hit enable. We're also going to search Google Sheets. Make sure to enable that also. And then boom, now when we go back to the N8n page, you'll see that there is no longer an error. It can access it. Keep in mind, my template is based off the exact naming conventions and whatnot from my account, so you're going to want to make sure to select from a list your file. Make sure it's connected to the same duplicate of my file from the template if you want it to run just like it did. So make sure everything else is selected, but you'll see that now there's no longer an error for this one. And then for the second one, all we have to do is click on that authorization that we set up for the first one, and then boom, this one is fixed. So now we have both the sheets fixed. Now we just have to enter the authorization info for these modules, and we should be good to go. Okay, so for the OpenAI one, same thing. It's just going to have this header auth, but you're not going to have the credential because you're not going to have mine. You're just going to name it authorization, and then the value is just going to be bearer space and then your key. To get your key, you're just going to go to your OpenAI account and find it on there and paste it in. So I just typed in bearer space and then my OpenAI API key that I got. Keep in mind you have to authorize your OpenAI account and everything, but just go Google OpenAI API key, go to that page, copy that, and then we put that in there. And then now this node should be good to go, and then we got to move on to the Cling node. One more point is I did rename this to OpenAI so that I know how to use it again. It will be saved universally on my account, and so I don't mix it up with the replicate API key. So when I open up Cling, you'll see it'll default to my OpenAI one, but we're going to want a new one, and that's going to be the same exact format as the OpenAI key. Okay, so now we have replicate named here, authorization, and then bearer space, and then the key. I got that key from replicate.com. If that sounds confusing to you, go to the main video where I explain this template, and it should make a little bit more sense. I'll have it linked in the description. But we have that now, so we can click save. So this credential is now saved. And then the get video, we're just going to have to make sure that that's connected to the replicate API. And boom, now we have no errors and our workflow should run flawlessly. Okay, so here I have my document. There are some to-dos, so I'm just going to run this brand new workflow that's being self-hosted and see how it goes. As you can see, it's fully running and everything is good to go. So you've learned how to self-host, you learned to import, and you've learned to fix the connections. And let me just correct that really quickly. The image BB, I forgot you had to enter your key into here, so we entered that key. So this step should work now. It's not going to error until you get to the step, but it should be fixed. And now the automation should be working 100%. Anyways, that concludes the tutorial. I hope this helped quite a bit. Not only are you saving 75% off of the normal plan by self-hosting, it should be done relatively quickly, and I've also taught you how to import those files and go through the credentials to make sure that that template works. So this video should serve as a really great resource for all my other tutorials. So if you came from one of those, thank you so much for watching that. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to x.com/mentor. This is my personal AI Twitter or X page, so make sure to give that a follow. And then also my Instagram with Adrian Viral AI. So if you have either one of those, please give that a follow, as well as my YouTube channel, of course. It means a lot for everyone that subscribes, and if you got this far, it would mean a ton if you could subscribe. I'm going to be creating a ton of more N8n content, more business-focused content, how to make money and improve revenues, cash flows, and all that for existing businesses to make money, whether you want to freelance for people, create your own businesses, or whatnot. This is, I think one of the most valuable N8n videos that I've created to date. And thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys later.